Alright, let's do this one last time. My name is Osme. I was bitten by a radioactive human, and for the last 10 years, I've been the one and only Osme. I'm pretty sure you know the rest. I told a bunch of dead jokes, farted on command, forgot more than half of my video ideas, and then I said a dead meme again and again and again, and I did this.
Have fun of them. Check him out. We got fidget spinners.
We don't really talk about that. Look, I'm a cartoonist, I'm an epic gamer, did a Minecraft song, but after everything, I still love being awesome. I mean, who wouldn't? Because the only thing standing between this world and oblivion, honestly, I really don't know. I think we're gonna need a scientist for that one. There's only one awesome, and you're looking at him. I've always been interested in how animated movies are made, from the idea to the characters and how the animators and directors take 4 to 10 years to make a masterpiece. This series I'm starting, called The Minds of Animation, will be a short series where I get deep into the kinds of creators, directors, and other cartoon stuff. I'll talk about how they started and how they put their talents into play. Recently, I've discovered 2 directors known as Phil Lord and Chris Miller, or their ship name, Chris Lord. Let's hope they don't see this. From the makings of the Lego Movie to Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, along with the more recently released Spiderverse, these pals have managed to create new genres of film. What makes them vastly different from directors these days is their communication online. Directors tend to stay away from the internet due to distractions or criticism, and you only really get a glimpse of them through the film they produce. But the duo is online promoting, doing podcasts, and just staying active with fans and friends online, which, if you ask me, really just helps grow their profiles in movies. These 2 were birthed with completely different mothers, but what they knew at the time was that their creativity would shock the world. Maybe they weren't thinking that, just let me have my moment. Growing up, they both enjoyed short films where they would run around the house and film whatever they could. In their free time, they would snap on Saturday cartoons and drown themselves in SpongeBob. Surprisingly, by the time they were teenagers, Chris and Phil were going to the same college. Both of them contributing in their college newspaper, and although they didn't know each other at the time, they came to me while a Disney employee introduced them to each other, and they both moved to Los Angeles to do work with Disney television animation. Their interests in short films and being nerds got them to form a bond, and slowly but surely working together. Their first project together was Clone High, which brought famous historical figures into the 21st century and depict how they would act as a teenager. Did this series change the world? No, but it was a start for them, and it was only going to get better. On the side, both of them tried to fit in as much time as possible to work on other projects, studying the skill of writing, producing as they went. Finally, they were ready to work on their first animated movie. Chris and Lord had always been a fan of the children's book, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, in the late 80s. They pitched the idea to Sony, and although they got to work on it, they were eventually fired, and then Sony got new people, which they fired, and then brought back Lord and Chris to retry. Dang, Sony, slow down on the firing. They ended up finishing that and another movie along with its sequel, which we'll get into later. While working on the sequel, they were confronted with a movie idea along the lines of Lego. They were skeptical because doing an hour-long commercial wasn't up their alley, but when they had full control with the story, they agreed. The Lego movie followed the story of a normal, fit-in kind of guy named Emmett until he gets into a hard situation and deals with it through his normal ways. What makes this movie so well and exciting? What I've noticed with animated movies is that there is occasionally the character that is always happy or innocent. This could include Paddington, Baymax, Stitch, or even Winnie the Pooh. With their films, they place someone normal into something beyond them, and they continue playing with that idea. What makes Emmett a great character is that he's smart without being smart. That's the best thing with an innocent character. Yes, they do something dumb or stupid, but you can see why they did that. If Emmett blew up a house for fun, then we would all hate the character, but let's say Emmett blew up a house because he thought it was a monster. Which you can kind of see why he would think that, because he's, I don't know, in a world where inanimate objects come to kill people. Lego Movie was a new fun way of making a kids movie. So many movies try to appeal to kids and usually fail while trying. This isn't because of how much work is put into the movie, it's the amount of stress someone has trying to fit in with what kids do. Lego Movie pushed away that fear of not relating and was just being itself. In Spiderverse, you can connect with the people that are doing bad things and somehow feel sympathy for them. Miles' uncle knows what he does is wrong, but he realizes he's too late to change and therefore shows the worst of people can still have emotion. The release of the Lego Movie changed the products industry. Lego sets came out, movies and short series on Netflix, which we don't speak of. When the first trailer came out, many people doubted it, thinking it would be another boring kids movie, like but when it came out in theaters February 7th, people walked out of the theater wanting more Lego. I remember seeing it for my birthday and hadn't picked up a Lego in probably months, and as soon as I left the movie, I started getting back into it. Lord and Miller were really happy about the success and motivated than ever before. Towards the end of the making of this film, they also had another opportunity to direct the first 3D animated Marvel feature film with Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse, about a boy named Miles Morales who lives in Brooklyn and likes to do graffiti. One day he finds out he's the new Spider-Man, and there's actually a lot of them from other dimensions. Side note, can we get a Spider-Ham spin-off movie? Like, maybe one of the scenes looks like this? That would be cool.
Peter here, open up!
With Spider-Man in the works, Phil Lord and Chris Miller were nothing but stoked for what was about to come, but they struggled with keeping an idea. 4 seconds of animation would take about a year to get right, and the process became tedious. They had the genius idea to make the movie like you're watching a comic book, adding pop dots, hatching, and even some 2D scenes. And they stuck with it, and to make that possible, they had about one animator. No, I'm kidding. To get a look of what they were going for, they hired one animator to meet up with them and design a look. Once they had that down, the production was set to 60 animators, and by the time August 2018, they had 142 all working. To achieve a comic style character-wise, they had some animators do 3D and the others worked on top with 2D lines, which created sort of a old-timey painting kind of feel. To get more motivated and to at least have a few rules for what they wanted to follow, they decided to do it in Comics Code Authority. You see, comic books were hated by humans in general when they first gained popularity. They thought it was inappropriate, so in order to not get yelled at by the government, they created the code which Spider-Verse entirely follows.
Wowie, Awesome, it's not like it's a kid's movie.
What I have yet to talk about is how they go about doing stuff. They start off with the idea and not going any farther than the script at first. Another way they write is by showing everyone. Chris and Phil would go get coffee and sit down and talk with anyone. They believe that nothing is going to succeed if you don't show anyone. You can easily get a good response from your mom because no mom's going to tell you it sucks, but it's a key to get a response from real opinions. If you plan on writing stuff, one thing that helps is by showing it to kids. Kids have so much opinion, and they can give you a few pointers. Once they have their script, they take hours on end to revise, throwing out ideas or entirely scrapping it. Phil and Chris also worked on a few live-action films, one known as 21 Jump Street. When an animated movie took 4 years for them to create, they got 21 Jump Street filmed in less than 12 months. Lastly, the point of view they write it in also affects their movies a lot. For Lego Movie 1 and 2, it's all in the kids' imagination and playing with Lego bricks. It wasn't hard for them because they're like 10-year-olds in 40-year-olds' body. 3 steps to making a film that's like this, where it's in a kid's room, start with coming up with the kid. He doesn't even have to be on screen to know him. For example, if he's a madman, maybe it's a story about a minifigure
dying.
Think in the mind of what a kid would like. Not all, but most usually like sports, cartoons, superheroes, and things that are popular in the decade the story is in. Step 3 is to write script and practice writing like a kid, and if you are a kid, then that's even better. Now, you might be wondering, why should I care about these people that don't affect my life? I really wanted to make this series to show creators and minds that don't get enough recognition. People are so used to watching a movie that they forget how much time went into it. I spent over a month making this video, and you will only be watching it for like 8 minutes of your day. So think about someone that works on something for years just for people to click and forget. If you really admire someone, tell people. If you want to be someone that people admire, study, get inspiration, and do what you love. Don't worry about people that don't love what you do. Who knows, maybe one day I'll make an episode about you.